Welcome to Pet Sitter Confessional, an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter. Today we're brought to you by our friends at Time to Pet and Pet Sitters International. What does it mean to be professional? Importantly, have you told people about that? As the industry grows and matures, more and more people are recognizing the pet sitting and dog walking industry as a professional industry. However, many don't even know what that word means or why it is included in a professional industry. We need to be thinking about what we can do in our local communities, first and foremost, about broadening that recognition and helping to educate people about what professionalism actually is. Today, we're really excited to have Ruby Ballesteros on the show from Ruby Red's Pet Care to talk about how she is partnering with those in her community to elevate the industry, educate potential clients, and lead the way in the industry. Let's get started.
Yes. First, thank you so much for having me back. It's good to speak to you again. I'm really excited to delve into this topic. But Ruby Red from Ruby Red's Pet Care, and by the way, excellent pronunciation of my last name. Well done.
Thank you.
We provide pet sitting services in the Irmo, Ballentine, Chapin, South Carolina areas. So that is what we do. So what you got for me today, Colin?
Okay. Well, one thing that we've been noticing on your social media pages is that you've been posting a lot of TV appearance interviews with your local station, and so I wanted you to talk about these, kind of, how they came about and how you're making the most of those.
Absolutely. It really goes back to networking and supporting other small businesses. And if you remember in the last time that we talked, I think we touched a little bit about, supporting, your local community and other small businesses. And this was one of those situations. Tyler Ryan is the local meteorologist for ABC Columbia, but he is also a small business owner. And that's how we met, is through his small business. So with, building that relationship, he offered a platform for me to use to talk to our local community about pet care tips. So not necessarily marketing my business per se, but educating our community about different topics, about pet care. So it was a great relationship that we built where, I'm supporting his small business, and the way that he supports mine is by offering me that platform to speak to our local community about pet care and how important it is. And, and on the sidebar conversation that we just had about how so many people don't know that we exist, what a fantastic platform to really expose, others that don't know that professional pet sitting is available. So I was really excited that he had offered me this opportunity to go out and speak to our community that, one, there is professional pet care, and you should definitely set the standard when it comes to the care of your fur babies. And of course, educating our community about the different topics for pet care. So it's been a fantastic opportunity, and we're going to continue to do it until who knows when.
Well, and I love how it all started out because you were fostering these relationships, right? And you were talking with other people, supporting them. I know last time we talked about the importance that you found in getting connected with the local chamber and finding that community of other business owners, and then representing the pet care industry in that way. And so we, it is daunting to go into those situations not knowing who we're going to talk to when we talk about that scary word of quote unquote, of networking.
Yes.
But it's also going, what opportunities are here? Who am I going to connect with today that might be the best thing that I need, or maybe just be a really good friend, and how do I make sure that I'm open to those possibilities?
Exactly. And I remember talking about that in the last time is, you meet so many different other small businesses, and everyone has something to share, because it doesn't matter what industry we're in. We all share the same growing pains of business ownership. So we can definitely help each other out. So
yes. so those early conversations, did they immediately jump to, hey, let's make a special TV segment and have you on? Or was it, how did that evolve?
He happens to be a fur dad too, and is very passionate. Yeah, it helps that he's a fur dad too, and he was very passionate about pet care. And the more he learned about what I do and my goals, of representing the industry, it got him excited and really wanted to put me out there to, like for my goal to educate others that there is professional pet care and there's, a lot to learn when it comes to pet care. And believe it or not, he's learned quite a lot in our own segments of like, oh, I didn't know that. So, or he'll reach out to me as a resource about, different types of, pet care tips and whatnot. So it's, that's kind of how it evolved. So um, it's been a fantastic ride so far. So I'm really excited that I've had that opportunity to get out there and talk to the community about it. So.
Well, and you mentioned being a representative of the industry, and I think that's really important as we look to an industry that is growing and expanding and is becoming more in the cultural mindset of people's expectations of what is a representation of that, and that we as small business owners, we represent the industry in everything and every aspect that we do. We set expectations that people carry forward for the next time they may interact with somebody else. I don't know if you've had this, Ruby, where somebody comes to you and they say, hey, I used a professional last time, and you just kind of just brace with like, what are you bringing? Like, what am I about to hear? and how is this? What's about to happen?
What do you consider professional?
Exactly. And knowing that like we have such an opportunity and it's such a wonderful, almost responsibility in that sense of setting a positive example and of knowledge, of expertise, of professionalism, of all those things wrapped together to go, this is what we mean when we say this is professional.
Right. Whenever I meet someone that has never used a professional business, I tease them a little bit. It's all it's all fun and games, but I tell them, I'm not the kid next door. I am a small business. I own this business. I'm legally licensed, bonded, insured. So I was like, you look up in the credentials, we are a small business. I'm not the teenage kid next door that just comes in and who knows what they do. So, when I tell them that, they definitely have a change of opinion because now I've set the standard of what they should expect. If, with me representing that I am a small business, and in any industry, when you say that you have a small business, immediately we have the mindset of what we should expect: professionalism, passion, in our own work, giving high quality, either products or services. So that immediately goes, into our mindset when we hear business ownership. Otherwise, they're going to think I'm the teenage kid that just come around and do subpar work. So, and believe it or not, I think a lot of pet parents out there are so used to that subpar work. And here we come and, and I talk about, the types of services we offer and what they should expect from us. Mm-hmm. It's like, holy cow, night and day, let's go. When do we start? So
you're right. When we do have those conversations, I almost feel as though because of those expectations that they have that are so much lower than our standard, they start to feel apologetic for asking things like, oh no, you don't have to come every day. Like don't worry about that. Or no, you don't have to send pictures at every visit. Just, whenever you can think about it or remember.
Just scoop the poop. No. Yeah. We don't just scoop.
No. Yeah. And, and so it is this like, no, I'm going to tell you not just how I operate, but why I think that that's important. And being able to communicate that, not just, because we fall into this trap of, I see somebody else doing something, so I'll just copy that and I'll do that in my business and that's what I'll do. Mm-hmm. But we have to be able to trace down to why we do certain things.
Yes.
What is the foundation for what we're doing and what are we building from that, instead of just going, well, I don't know, I just kind of do this because I think that's what's best. Maybe it's we the way we communicate that and how we connect people back to that value that they get is mm-hmm. just really important.
It reflects your company's mission and vision statement, which is very important to have. So, you reflect that. What your mission statement that you have should reflect your work. So, I always try to go back to, whenever I'm explaining these services and what they should expect, I always go back to my core values and my mission of my business. So, And it gives them a different perspective of, of what they should expect. And, we do our very best at the end of the day. Is there anything we can do better? And they're like, oh my God, this was fantastic. I'm ready for my next vacation. I'm like, great, me too.
Wonderful. Well, no, so for these interviews, how do you prepare for these, or do you are these on a regularly scheduled timeline, or how do those get arranged?
The segments, you mean?
Yeah.
So right now we have decided every other Friday, and him being in the position that he's in, he has on Fridays he invites different guests and different businesses that have an opportunity to promote what they do. So we've decided that on Fridays would be a really good time, every other Friday, to a really good time to talk about pets. And so far we've maintained that consistency. So now every other Friday people are expecting Ruby Red, and what is she going to talk about today? So we've done it for a little over 3 months now, and we've decided to name the segment. So now it's got a branding on it. So right. So now it's almost official at this point. So we call it the water bowl segment. So now we talk about at the water bowl, we're going to talk about, cat proofing your Christmas tree. I don't know if you caught that one where we talked about cat proofing your Christmas tree, or the New Year's resolution. So at the water bowl segment, so now, now that they've seen us every, for the past 3 months, every other Friday, now we've got a name. Now, they're going to think, we got to catch the water bowl segment. We got to learn something, awesome about pet care. And here she is, Ruby Red. So so far it's worked out really well. The viewership has been really great. We've got a really good response from the viewership. And of course we post it on social media, so that if you're not an early riser, because it's at 6:30 in the morning when we come on, I know, but hey,
yeah,
we got to do what we got to do. It's posted out on social media and YouTube. So for those of us who are not the, early risers, we can catch, the 3-minute segment of, of what we're going to cover. So far, so good.
Well, I know a lot of people are sitting here thinking, going, I get so nervous just trying to record a video on my phone to post to social media. Is that something that you struggled with, getting in front and doing this and on the TV?
Oh, well, let me tell you that it is live.
Live. Okay.
It is. There's no pre-recording. So
nice. Even better.
Even better. There's no pre-recording. There's no rehearsal. It's, you go with your gut. And so even though that I've done it for a few months now, it's still nerve-wracking when I get in there. And I just have to remember, I'm a professional here. I know my stuff. I've prepared what I want to talk about. And you really got to ignore the camera. Otherwise, I'll get lost and my brain stops working. And so and Tyler has been really good. He's been doing this for decades, so he's an absolute professional. So he can recognize the deer in the headlights stare and will snap me out of it, and my brain will start working again. So, and these are subtle things. And again, of course, he's professional, so he knows how to do it. So he gets me back, rolling again. But it's sometimes I try to rehearse in the mirror and think about what I'm going to say. And I also have to anticipate what kind of questions he might ask, because he's not giving me any questions. Oh. So who knows what he's going to ask me. So, in my brain, I've got it structured, and then he'll ask me some off the wall question that just completely derails my structured thinking. But I've gotten used to that now, and I just stop structuring it. And I'll say, I know what I know. Let's do this. So I've gotten a lot more comfortable with just focusing on him. We're having a casual conversation. It's not, this, corporate instruction led type deal, just two friends just talking about pet care. And so when I try to think of it that way, it does, help me to relax a little bit and, discuss what we want to discuss. But there are times where the throat will start getting tickly and I'm like, oh my God.
So this is it.
Yes. So, and honestly, when you look back at the video, it's just natural. It's normal. It doesn't even like, I make a big deal out of it, out of nothing. When you look at it, it's like, it's fine. So
Yeah. Oh, and that's such a big part of getting out of our own way, isn't it? Of just going,
it
no, like
is.
it's fine. Like people need to breathe in real life. It's okay if I take a breath right now. Like if I need to clear my throat, kind of, it's okay. Like this is all
It's
good.
fine.
Yeah.
Right. I just hope I don't have like a complete like choke fest where I'm just like dying and they have
Right.
to cut to commercial. Ruby's gone.
Right.
So, but I think it definitely. Speaking of which,
Oh, there you go.
I thought I thought I silenced my phone there. Sorry about that. But it helps to build that relationship, with him, and it's a lot more comfortable. And he makes sure that hey, we're just having a conversation.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. Ignore the cameras. Show the little hand signals, and then we have to do it in that time frame. So we're not going off in a tangent. So I have to like learn the little hand signals. So it's like,
But you're
like, shush, Ruby.
you're kind of coming with at least a general topic, right? Or are you just showing up completely cold?
No, I do. I do prepare the topics of what I want to talk about and discuss in the segments. So I try to prepare. Since I know that there is a time limit, I really try to narrow it down to like 3 or 4 main bulleted points and just kind of beef it up in a casual conversation at the studio. And then, I create a little visual aid. And I don't know if you notice that they'll post it up on the television, the little visual aid there, and it'll kind of recap some of those bulleted points of the topic that we're discussing. So, so every segment sorry, I think my headset keeps going in and out. But every segment I prepare a topic that I want to talk about. And I try to relate it to what's going on around that time frame. So for example, in December, we talked about, introducing a new pet because so many people want to adopt a new pet during Christmas. And then of course, cat proofing your Christmas tree. So I try to relate it, during that month. And then some, there's so many topics that we can discuss. It's just unlimited, that we can do in between. So yeah, I'm the one that goes in there and what do I want to talk about today? Or sometimes something will happen in my own pack. And, I'm like, you know what, this is a really good topic to talk about at the next segment.
We've had that kind of inspiration strike whenever it's come time to sit down and maybe write a blog or a social media post, and you're like, oh man, I don't know what I'm going to do, and then that one thing happens, and you're like, oh well, we're talking about cats and air ducts. It's exactly what I need to talk about right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sometimes that does happen. Something will happen in the pack. I'm like, you know what? This is a really good topic to talk about. Let's cover it.
Have you heard of Time to Pet? Chris Ann from Raining Cats and Dogs has this to say.
Becoming a Time to Pet client has been a game changer for us. We can give our pet services clients real-time, cloud-based information they never imagined they'd be interested in. And most importantly, to me personally, I can better manage my company and look forward to more. And not a small thing, Time to Pet is responsive to my requests for new features and modifications to existing ones.
If you're looking for new pet sitting software, give Time to Pet a try. Listeners of our show will save 50% off your first 3 months by visiting timetopet.com/confessional. And this does, man, this sounds, can sound pretty intimidating of going, oh, it's just a casual conversation, but this also has to be done in 3 minutes. And also I have to hit some talking points and make sure this is also valuable to people and also has to look natural and also. But I think what really is key there is the preparation and is the relationship that you have with him on the outside, right? It's not just like you're showing up cold for the first time too.
Right.
And as you are able to do this more, that's only going to make him even better.
No, yeah, I absolutely. I feel, I don't encourage it because I'm going to be embarrassed. But if you look at the first one and then the ones I've done in the latest one, huge difference, because the first one is always, that nerve-wracking experience. And then each one, we get I get better and better at it, and understanding the dynamics of a news studio. It's so overwhelming with all the producers and cameras and lights and microphones and things like that. It gives me a whole different perspective of what goes on in a news station and what these anchors have to go through to get it running, and and where I fit in. So I feel like I've definitely gotten better as with each segment, and of course working on the uhs and the ums, and that's another one. You got working on the. So, but yeah, if you watch me on the first one and then watch the latest one, there is definitely a huge difference. And it's practice. Practice makes perfect. The more you get on there, the better you're going to get. So, that's really the bottom line. Just get out there.
Just get out there and do it and try something, right? That's
right.
As with everything in business and in our lives, of sometimes we just have to go, look, I don't know how this is going to turn out, and I can only prepare so much. But at some point, I've got to do this. I've got to take this opportunity to go be on my local TV station, or I've got to take this opportunity to partner with this other business, or take this new thing on, or try this new service. We have to push ourselves out of the way and be a little bit selfless in that time, and go, what's important right now? What is necessary? What's good? What do I need to do? What needs to be done in this situation? Mm-hmm. We may know the right answer in our head of going, well, of course you should take that opportunity. Why wouldn't you? But on the inside, we're screaming, right? We're like,
because the first one that we had it scheduled, I was very close to rescheduling just because I was so scared. And I'm like, no, Ruby. Yeah, right. Because I'm like, no, I'm not ready. I'm like, no, you got to get out there. So I had to give myself a little kick in the back to like get out there. And I was, it's like, it is what it is. Nobody knows you. Hopefully nobody recognizes me in the street if I really messes this up. Right. Are you? No, I'm not.
I don't know.
But we're good now. We're good now. So hopefully people will recognize me. Hey, are you? Yes, I am. Come on in.
Oh, they're smiling. Okay, yeah.
You're right. I know they're smiling.
Well, how would you say? I guess two different things here. Like, how would you say this has just impacted you personally, and then how has it impacted your business being able to do this?
Personally, it has. I mean, like I mentioned, it has really pushed me out of my comfort zone. I'm an introvert I would say I'm a social introvert. I was a trainer in my corporate life, so I was always standing in a group of 100 people. But being on television where it's just you, one other person in the cameras, is like a completely different world. So it helped me. It's a whole new experience. So it really helped me grow into, a different person. I'm not afraid anymore to try something new. So, I think that's fantastic. Whereas before I was like, maybe I should reschedule. I'm really not ready. And now it's just like, I'm ready to try anything. Let's go, and it's okay to fail. I think everybody's always afraid to fail or look silly, when we're doing it, but who cares? We're human. We're going to make mistakes. And, I don't want to have that regret where it's like you shoulda, woulda, coulda, but now I did. And now that I've done it, every segment I look back and just think about, okay, what can we do better in the next one? Mm. So I no longer am afraid of like, well, I don't want to ever do this again because I look silly. No, it's like, okay, well, what can we do better the next time? Because I'm ready for it. Let's go. So it's really pushed me in the professional and personal growth of getting out of that comfort zone. As far as the business, I will say that one, I felt like it has strengthened my relationship with my current clients, because not that they did not take me serious as a business owner, but I think they're really taking me serious as a business owner, that, I really want to grow this business, not just, coming into their home and taking care of their pets, but really building a great brand, a great company to really represent that professional pet care. And not only that, but I've also noticed that other small businesses are taking note. And I have been invited by other small businesses to talk about pet care. So that to me feels like it really gives a lot more credibility of my business, and not just Ruby Red's Pet Care, but professional pet care in general. So I felt like I was representing us with like, hey, there's professional pet care out there and you should set a standard. And here I am. I forget LaDonna from Rocky Mountain, she was like, oh my God, girl, you've been on the news all the time. I said, girl, I'm trying to rep us. So, but we're working here. I'm working here. So, and we talked about this in the last segment about, I was on a campaign of representing us meaning in the pet care industry, that we are professional, business owners, and we take our, our business serious, and we set a high standard of professional pet care. So these other businesses are now taking me seriously. They're not thinking of me as a pet sitter. They're thinking of me as a professional who owns a pet sitting business, and let's collaborate. So it's been a really great opportunity and a door that has really opened for me as far as networking and collaborating with other businesses as well. I felt like I earned a seat at the table.
Well, it is something that many of us feel frustrated by in our own communities, where you go to networking events or you see people out in public, or, you go to other ribbon cuttings and things like that. And kind of as soon as you tell people what you do, I think the word that I would describe a lot of the response is typically, oh, that's cute. Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Like, oh, wow. That's, cool. How fun. But the credibility, the seriousness that you're talking about, it takes a little bit for them to see that in that. And that's where we go, oh no, I've got to speak up about this. I've got to talk about this. And they do eventually see, oh, okay, this is way more than I ever thought. And that's actually, okay, that's great. Like I remember I was getting a coffee at one of our favorite coffee shops, and I was talking about, I've got to go train somebody to, how to walk a dog. And the barista said, what do you mean it's walking a dog? And 7 minutes later, he was like, I think I'll just keep making my espressos. And I was like, anyway, bye. Not that us making espressos isn't difficult, but it's just expectations about what people think. And so to have you in a platform where you're able to consistently show up with the credibility there behind you, that's able to showcase like, this is what we're talking about. And I think that's just, it's so needed and necessary now more than ever, with a lot of the things going on in the news, with a lot of the exposure that unfortunately the industry suffers from the other side, not having that kind of face out there and talking about these things. And it does put, again, a little bit of onus on every single one of us to go, how am I representing in my community? How am I showcasing what else is out there?
Right. So yeah, we see it all the time. I think we did one segment about retractable leashes, and when I had showed how to properly hold a leash, and and Tyler was like, there's a way that you properly hold a leash. I'm like, yes, absolutely. So you always see the crazy ways of how people hold their leashes with these 100-pound dogs, and you're like, cringe.
No,
All you need is a squirrel. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Yeah, and then you're not going to either have fingers, or your shoulder will be dislocated, or your clavicle is going to be broken. Like, let's just list the ways here.
Right, exactly.
and it's really exciting to hear about this opportunity that you've taken advantage of, from those two perspectives of yes, the business of how it's elevated you in the industry, but also and your community, but also just yourself, how you described how, not afraid to try something new. And I think that thing is so hard to break through in our own lives, because we tend to get in that same lane, and the lane is comfortable, and things could be even happening around us that we don't like, but we know what we know. And I don't want to get out of that lane because I know what I know, and I don't want to do anything different because at least I know what I know. And that's to our detriment. Yeah, there's one thing to be said about consistency and predictability. Like, that's definitely something that we should talk about. But when we think of growing ourselves and how do I get to 10 years or 20 years or 30 years? I can't stay the same where I am right now. I've got to do something different. Yeah.
Right. You got to turn it on. Turn on the signal light. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, and I love talking to you about your connection to the community, because it's something that's so important to you. And one of the things that I noticed in in your newsletters that you do is you actually offer discounts for your clients to other local businesses. And I wanted to talk to you about how you go about offering those and kind of where those come from?
Honestly, I leave it up to the business owner.
Really?
And I do. I ask them about it. So when, with the networking I've done, I really wanted to take that relationship up a notch and, introduce them to my clientele. One, because, as you know, sometimes we don't know who's out there as far as small businesses are concerned. And I thought, why not? I have a really good platform to offer. Why not? Expose and market a fellow business colleague to, a set of my clients that, may or may not use their services, but hey, at least they know, what's out there. So whenever I approach a small business owner and saying, hey, I'd love to feature you, in my newsletter, I try to focus on them and not necessarily their business per se. For example, I would say, Colin, is the owner of, Professionals, my brain just went dead. This is what I was talking about. Okay. Somebody help me. Where's Tyler so he can snap my brain?
Cue card. Your cue card.
Hello. But, just say, I'm just going to make something up because my brain just went dead. But, this is Colin. He owns, Pizzeria Express. And oh, by the way, he's, a churchgoer. He has 3 kids and blah, blah, blah. Because I feel like there's a personal connection, that can be made when they understand the person and, what this person has done to really persevere in their business. And, it makes, I feel like it's more of a personable approach versus some ad. And I didn't want to make it too adsy. So whenever I tell them, I say, hey, I really want to promote your business. However, I want to promote you because I don't want it to be too adsy. Yeah. Where it's just like, here's, order 1 pizza, get 1 free. I didn't want to do that. So when I write a little mini bio of this person and their background and how they got their business started, I ask them, hey, if you want to, you can offer an exclusive savings just for my clients. I do not, if you notice the discount code is not on social media, it's only on my newsletter. So you have to be a PAC member to get it. So, it's, if my clients want to take advantage of that, then they can go shopping on their website or make an order and use that coupon code if they so choose. So it's up to them. I tell them it's not a requirement, only if you like to. It's an exclusive. It also, I feel like it gives my clients a perk for being a PAC member. For me, that, not only do I provide these pet care services, but I also network with these small businesses that are willing to offer my clients an exclusive discount for shopping at their store, for supporting them. So I feel like it's kind of a win-win. My clients get discounts, I expose their small business. It's a great relationship all around.
Yeah, especially
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, especially when we're always thinking about how do I add value as a business? How do I add value to my clients? And man, my brain almost always immediately goes to, well, what can I add to my service? And how do I add this? And what do I need to do for this? But something as valuable as, let me introduce you to another business that you might not have known about. And hey, if you get a discount, that's great. But also you just know about this. And what that is so wonderful because that is, I didn't spend any money to make that happen. It's not an ongoing expense to me to keep that there. It's just hey, as a valued member of my business, I want to let you know about this person who's doing these amazing things over here. And they've been kind enough to, offer a 15% discount if you order the first pizza or whatever. Like, that's such a wonderful thing to know. And from a client to go, man, this person, Ruby's out there making these connections. Man, she's really helping me solve my pizza cravings when she was going to be walking my dogs too. Like, this is actually great.
Right. Well, I started in the beginning of the year, I started with trying to select pet related small businesses. And then I said, well, why do that? So I ended up expanding to just anybody, really, anyone who had a small business. And I think that was a fantastic idea on my part. Tooting my own horn there. Yeah. Good job, Ruby. Genius. Yeah. But, I thought about why just stay in pet care? Why not just expand outside of that? Yeah. So, and I did. I've had coffee and candles and paintings and, just every industry that I can think of. And oh, by the way, I have a lot of clients who are also small business owners.
Yes.
So, so I have a dedicated page on my newsletter that I call a PAC member spotlight, and I spotlight their small business. So, so I introduce them to the clients as well. Well, hey, by the way, this is the owner of, this phenomenal Italian restaurant, Divino Rosso, and he's also my client. So, it kind of creates a community in a sense, because now my clients are like, oh, well, I want to go to an Italian restaurant. Ruby has a client that happens to own an Italian restaurant. Let's go over there. So I definitely expanded, and I'm making my list for 2025. And it was mind blowing of all of the networking that I've done with the chambers that I've been a part of. Holy cow, do I know a lot of small business owners. So now I'm thinking, should I do more than one? Because last year I only did one a month.
Wow.
Right. So that's only 12 businesses. And I was just amazed of how many people I actually know that I would love to support. So I'm like, shoot, maybe I should add maybe 2 or 3, or, I'm still trying to decide.
Yeah.
But I hate to like not include someone just because, but I was like, maybe I should add more, or just have a sheet. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I just want to support everybody.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so it's been really, really good. And I just think that it strengthens the relationships that I have, not only with my clients, but with my, professional colleagues as well. So it's a win-win all around.
Operating a professional pet sitting or dog walking business can be both rewarding and profitable, but it can also be challenging and even lonely. That's why Pet Sitters International is committed to giving you access to the credentials, continuing education, and community you need to succeed. From a new toolkit and training each month, and an on-demand learning library, to their private member Facebook group and their annual conferences, PSI's member benefits are designed to help you live your best pet sitter life. Visit petsit.com/join to learn more and use the promo code Confessional15 at checkout to save $15 off your first year. Yeah, and if you, again, it sounds really daunting to sit there and go, oh man, highlighting people. But as you just said, Ruby, like it's 12. It's just 12. If you do one a month, it's only 12. I guarantee you know 7 already. Like if you just sat down and did a brain dump, if you've done no work, just go ahead and do, those listening, just write down other businesses that you know of and that you love. And you can probably come up with at least 7, and then you can scroll on Facebook and find the others. Like it's really, really not that much, because when you start looking, and it's hard when you just drive around town, because you're like, what is going on around here? I don't know if you're like me, if Ruby, if you're like, what's over there in that corner? What's over here? And then you actually start networking and you find they're everywhere. Small businesses everywhere, because they're just like us, right? They struggle with visibility, but they're there. They're doing cool stuff. They're and they're good members of the community and everything. And you go, man, what can I do? And that's just again that aspect of, I want to support people and be a member, be a member of my community, and I want to be here. And I was talking with our chamber the other day about just kind of our goals for what does it mean to be a community member as a business, and as a small locally owned business and owner and operated stuff. It's like, okay, what does that mean for us? How do we get involved? It's not always about spending money or sponsoring the next thing or doing all this stuff or giveaways. It's about, hey, can I tell somebody about you? Can I do that for you? That's what I would like to support you in that way. How wonderful.
Right. It's not that hard. It really isn't. And something I did that I want to share, at the end of the year, Christmas time, we're all struggling. What do we get our clients? I bought gift certificates of the small businesses I featured throughout the year, and gave them to my clients so that they can shop at their business. And I said, well, here's a great opportunity for them. If they didn't get a chance when I featured them, well, I'm forcing them to go get it. Because now they got a gift certificate, so they got to use it now.
Yeah.
So, now they're forced to go in there on their website and take a look, and they have some spending money to check out their website. So, I wanted to really further support, these people with, it doesn't have to be an extraordinary amount of a gift card. It's just simple, $5, $10, $15, whatever your budget is. it's just an opportunity for that person to, to shop around because it's free money for them. So, and now, my professional colleague, has a new client because I was able to kind of bridge that gap in a way. So, yeah. So, and I intend on doing that next year. I was like, this is a fantastic idea. One, I don't have to struggle with like, what do I get? So,
oh, it's
gift cards.
It's so terrible, and everyone loves gift cards. And again,
Yes.
especially if it's someplace that that you love, the person. It's an easy buy. You're supporting local as well. It's like
exactly.
Why not? Like it's such a wonderful way to say. Because what we've found, and especially when things get weird in the broader economy, it's known that people look to local and they want to support local, and it makes people feel really good. They know it's important, and as local small businesses, we want that as well. So to have that network of people who's also supporting and cheering and rooting for you and supporting you in those ways, it really just helps complete that cycle to go, hey, let me just share about this, and here's a gift card to go. So it's no skin off your back if you don't like it, but here's some free money. I don't.
It's an opportunity. It really is. It's an opportunity to go in there and check them out. So, but yeah, I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
Genius, Ruby. So, yeah. But it was just a way of how I can further, help promote, these other small businesses in my community. And a lot of them, I mean, they do the same thing for me. They, on social media, it's a simple, sharing a story and, and tagging me. And, so there's so, every year we all go through it. There's so many things that we can all do to support small businesses that doesn't cost a dime. It's as simple as supporting their social media page or word of mouth or, whatever, what have you. But that was kind of what my way is, hey, I can feature them on the newsletter. If you want to offer a discount, great. I want to offer a perk for my clients as Ruby Red, pack members. Yeah. And it's a great opportunity, to get them out there. So it's been good. I've enjoyed it. And I'm going to continue on. I just got to decide whether I want to add, a couple more on the newsletter because there's just too many people that, I want to really, get out there and promote.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I mean, you could definitely see it developing into even just, welcome to the pack booklet as far as like, things that you hand out to yeah, welcome. Part of your welcome package, like, hey, here's a massive book of discounts or deals or exposure that you didn't even ask for, but here's a way to help you. Like, in in a couple of years down the line when you get that. So that's exciting. That's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, I know this last year has been a lot of growth for you, overcome a lot of challenges, and you're heading into 2025 here, and you're also heading into your 5th year of business. So, I mean, just congratulations on that, Ruby.
Thank you.
It's a huge milestone to be into.
I made it.
Okay. I did want to ask, kind of like, what are some of your biggest lessons from the last 5 years as you go into this?
There is, I'll have to say that perseverance, patience are definitely keys, in business ownership. In the last couple of years, I think, we've talked about this, I think in the last segment where the big challenge was, the teenagers and the next door neighbor and, my kids are home, type deal, which, almost hurt my business. And I think pet parents were starting to understand the importance of professional care because we were just overly flooded with all of those folks that had those teenagers and the neighbors and, and the kids, that want to go party instead of taking care of kids. So, right, exactly. So I think for me, when I look back on it, I never devalued my service. I always maintain the integrity of the type of business that I wanted to represent. And, we've all gone through it. And I even see, some of the forums that we have and the pet sitter forums where should I lower my prices to stay competitive? Absolutely not. You maintain your integrity of your business. You maintain the value of your business. You're going to get the clients that truly appreciate what you do and the value that you bring in your business. And I'd like to say that through those hard times of my business, I never faltered in that respect. I made sure that I kept my head held high. I know what, the type of services that I wanted to provide. And I just refused to lower my standard just because.
Yeah, no, man, that is really hard. I know Megan and I have had those kind of discussions over the last couple of years of, man, well, with this new client, they're right in our service area, but they don't want us to do what we do, right? They're wanting us to cheapen the service or to change our standards. And at the end of the day, we come to that decision every time. I could not sleep at night doing that service the way that client wants me to, because it's way too cheap, or they're asking for every other day or every 3 days, or don't scoop the litter each time, or don't do this, or don't worry about medications. We'll just hope the cat makes it before I come back home. It's like, I don't know if you've ever gotten that. Like, we'll just double up on the dosages before we leave. And
how about no?
Yeah. And that's where we draw that. You as a business, we have to draw that line of what are we never going to do. And man, it gets real tempting to cross that line sometimes, especially when business is hard or we're going through a scary period or whatever. But we have to hold that. And as you said, I love that word of, maintain integrity. That's a personal integrity. That's also a business integrity. At the end of the day, we're not known for doing those things. We're known for much better and greater things.
Exactly. And you don't want to start developing that reputation of lowering that standard, because then people are going to expect that, and that will just destroy, what you built. So absolutely not. I've always said, I've had the clients who are like, well, you really don't have to, do all that with the litter box. And I said, well, the cost is the same. So go ahead and get used to the VIP treatment. Whether I scoop one poop or not, it's going to be the same. So you might as well get used to the VIP treatment.
Yeah. Or don't worry about the mail. Don't worry about packages. Don't worry about cleaning. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about scooping the litter box. Just I'll get it when I get back. It's like, no. This is just what we do. This is our standard of care. And that's such man, people, they don't expect that. And they're kind of like, oh, I wasn't expecting all that. Like you said, well, the price is the same and I'm going to do it anyway. So just, I guess, like you said, enjoy it.
Right. Get used to the VIP treatment.
I love that. Man, I think we'll get that on a shirt too.
I need a, what do you call it? Hashtag that.
I know. Yeah. Ruby Reds, get used to the VIP, the VIP life. I like that. Oh, okay. We'll workshop that a bit more. Well, what are you excited about for the next 5 years?
Colin, I'm going to take it 1 year at a time.
Okay.
I think that's going to be the safest thing. Is just take it 1 year at a time. And, it's like, we can certainly, come up with something grand. I mean, in 5 years, it'll be 10 years in the business. And I definitely want to reach that milestone of being 10 years in the business. So there's that goal, that long-term goal of reaching that 10 years, what that looks like. I don't know with doing the television segments and, promoting other small businesses, I hope that with all of that investment, something, will come into fruition that I'm not expecting, and it will just better my business. I definitely want to go beyond with just the standard of care that we provide. And I think with what I'm doing right now, I think I'm on the right track of where I want to go in the business. But I'm just like taking, all right, here's 2025. What do we got? And it's one of those deals where, like, you see the mountain and you just want to take one rock at a time. And by the time, you look down, you've already reached the top of the mountain. You didn't even know it. So, that's kind of how I'm seeing this right now. It's like, I'm just going to take it 1 year at a time. And by the time I turn around, it's my 10 year.
Right.
I made it again.
I made it again. But it is, I mean, every day, every year is really just small moments of arrival that we never expected, isn't it? Of man, I never thought I'd be here. I'm sure you're going, man, I never thought I'd be on TV, or I'd have all these clients, or I'd have all these business relationships. But you worked hard, right? And hard work. And as you said, I love how you said, I don't know, but something will happen that I didn't even expect. And that's where this faith and this hope comes in the work that we do here and now of going, I'm working hard. I'm being diligent. I'm staying true to my values and my mission, and I'm following my core principles and values. And now I know something's going to happen from that. Either something amazing, and my business is going to explode and be all great, or maybe I just learned and made some friends along the way, and I had a good time doing it. Like no real major big expectations, but just going. I know that I'm faithful to this work, and that's part of our responsibility.
Yes, I mean, you said it so perfectly, faithful to, to our work. And that's where I'm at right now. It's I'm in it for as long as, I'm in it, and, and then just go from there. So, when I look back of all the struggles that we've had, pandemic, the war, egg prices, gas prices, all of that stuff. And here we are now with so many different things happening. It's a really exciting time right now in my business. And I'm taking advantage of every single thing because, as you know, tomorrow it could be dead.
Yeah.
So let's enjoy it right now.
Oh, well, Ruby, I want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing this, your kind of challenges that you've overcome, but also the opportunities that you've taken advantage of, and encouraging us to do the same. And that we don't know what tomorrow holds, but also we can make the most of what we have today. And that's kind of the funnest part of it, and stepping out of our comfort zones to do that. I know that there's, again, you're doing an awful lot, and there's a lot of cool stuff to see. So if people want to go and watch some of those segments, maybe not the first one, start the third one.
Right. Maybe the third one. Yeah. That's a good number. Yeah.
See some of those, or just follow you on everything that you got going on. How can they do that?
So the next scheduled segment is Friday, January 17th at 6:30 Eastern. If you are an early riser, if not, just wait for the link to get posted on social media. But I am happy to help a fellow business owner at rubyredspetcare@gmail.com. Or on my website, rubyredspetcare.com. So you can reach me on either one of those, or social media at rubyredspetcare. So I'm available anytime, and, I'm here to help.
Perfect. We'll have those links in the show notes so people can get connected and start following along. This has been just an immense pleasure, Ruby. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Colin. I appreciate you.
Maintaining the integrity of my business meant refusing to lower my standards even during tough times. One of the key components of what it means to be a professional is our integrity, our desire to see things done according to how we think they should be done. When we say yes, it's a yes. When it's a no, it's a no. We uphold high standards, not just for people around us, but also for ourselves, which does mean that we will have to make tough choices. We are going to have to make tough decisions in our business that put our integrity on the line. A professional will hold to that no matter what. We want to thank today's sponsors, Time to Pet, and our friends at Pet Sitters International for making this show possible. And we really want to thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll be back again soon.